Elizabeth Banks reveals that she called Marvel up and she wanted to direct Thor Ragnarok, but Marvel never called her back. And I wonder why. Could it be maybe that she has a reputation of hating on men and, blaming her failures on men instead of just accepting that, hey, maybe I didn't direct a product that people are going to want to see, especially when you talk about the action genre, which is completely carried by men. They watch action movies more than women do. So if you want something successful, in the case of like Charlie's Angels, which should be easy, Charlie's Angels should be easy to pull off, to have at least somewhat of some success, right? At least make your budget back in a little more, at least some sort of success. You got the formula right there. Hot babes who kick butt. Boom, there you go. How do you mess that up? Well, this is how she messed it up, by turning it into more of a feminist movie. I made a video about this several months ago or so. But come on, girl. Come on. She wants to dive more into the action genre, but it seems more like she just wants the accolades of it, more so than just having a genuine passion for action movies. And hating on men and saying this movie isn't made for men and then blaming men when it doesn't do well, that's not a good formula for success in a male-dominated genre, especially. Let's go ahead and dive into the video, though. This comes to us from MCU The Direct, where they say Marvel ignored Elizabeth Banks' MCU directing pitch, reveals the star herself. So Elizabeth Banks recently looked back on a time when she attempted to join the MCU's rank of elite filmmakers. Banks has transitioned from an extensive acting career into being behind the cameras over the past few years, moving more toward that direction with the Pitch Perfect series in the 2010s, which obviously is not action. Banks even has her own history with the comic book movie genre, which could have gone beyond her acting career a few years ago. Speaking with Variety during the press tour for Cocaine Bear, Elizabeth Banks revealed that she threw her name into the hat to direct Marvel Studios' Thor Ragnarok, which was released in 2017. So looking at her own directing style, Banks explained that she can't do someone else's vision for a movie, wanting to instead bring her sensibility into things. Okay. See how that didn't work already, right? Also, Elizabeth Banks seems to be and appears to be a raging feminist, all right? Feminism just isn't as popular as Twitter might make it seem to be, okay? I want to say even over 50% of women don't identify as feminists. I don't. I even tried at one point because I never did. And then people were telling me, but feminism is just about equality. Why wouldn't you believe in equality? So I'm like, okay, let me give this a shot. Let me see what it's about. I remember joining a feminist Facebook group and then leaving because I got attacked because I said sometimes women in kitchen jokes can be funny. So, okay, this whole feminist mob, no fun, no jokes, hate on men. It's not a good time. There's just not anything good that can come out of that. So you can't be a raging feminist and want to insert yourself in a male-dominated field and expect that to go well. Look at what happened with Anita Sarkeesian in the gaming industry. She wasn't even a gamer, but she just wanted in on it because, okay, gaming is profitable or gaming is just, the cool thing now. Even though used to gamers, we were made fun of for playing video games, but the tides turned, right? And we took over. Well, now other people wanted to insert themselves in and take over everything. That's why some of our favorite things have been hijacked and ruined because people, especially these whacktivists, want to insert all of their ideologies into things because they don't like it, okay? So maybe if you're the type of person that finds action movies, comic books, video games, if you find that stuff problematic, then why are you trying to insert yourself into it? It's because you don't enjoy it. You don't want no one else to. What do you expect's going to happen? People aren't going to like it and they're going to resent you for ruining what they loved. Y'all see me rant about it all the time with Tomb Raider, for example. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. And while that's made her not as interested in joining major franchises like the MCU, she noted that one exception was Thor Ragnarok from Marvel Studios. While she believes a call was made about her possibly pitching a take on the movie, Banks noted that nothing ever happened, which is probably a huge blessing. The job ended up going to Taika Waititi, which Banks believes was the right decision, which I don't even like him and a lot of what he pushes, but I did like Thor Ragnarok, so I will give him that. No one called me back. Taika Waititi got the job, rightfully so, she says. What drew her to the job was how funny Thor was in that movie, particularly the way he poked fun at himself throughout the story. Of course she would love the chance to emasculate a man. Of course she was. I've had an attraction to the sensibility, the character being funny, and knowing how good Chris is at making fun of himself. That's my vibe. Now, I do think, while I did like Thor Ragnarok, I do think this was, the beginning of things going downhill for Thor in general, because Thor is a character that is just the epitome of masculinity. And Chris Hemsworth pulled an amazing Thor off, even though I don't think that his standalone movies, the first two, I only watched the first one. I thought it was good, but it wasn't like amazing like a lot of the other Marvel stuff. But that wasn't due in part to Thor himself or being too manly or needing to be a comic relief character. So I do appreciate the comedy in Thor Ragnarok, but unfortunately this is what made a joke out of Thor, and they went too far with it. They cared more about how he fit into the MCU as a whole instead of actually staying true to his character. So yeah, they did turn him into a giant joke, and Thor Ragnarok was the beginning of that. And at the time, it was hard to see what was actually going to happen further down the road. But anyway, once she realized she mentioned the MCU as a possibility, she joked with the outlet that her quotes would make for a clickbait style article instantly. Or yeah, I brought up Thor. You're going to clickbait me in that hecking article now. I never should have said it out loud. In a separate interview with Variety, Banks made it clear that she doesn't have any hard feelings about not getting the pitch to pitch Ragnarok, not exactly eager to take on a superhero movie. The outlet said if she'd reached out to DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn, with whom she worked with on 2006's Slither after his promotion, to which she mentioned a pitch she had at one point for a Catwoman movie. I had a pitch for a Catwoman movie a while ago, but I don't think it'll fit into the mandate right now, but maybe someday. Banks admitted that she isn't approached very often about working with big studios, but that she's always available. I don't get approached much about doing anything, but I'm open for business. That's the thing. I'm open for business. Okay, I just wish she would stay away from all of this stuff, all comic book stuff, any gaming stuff, any action type stuff in general. I want her to stay away from it. I want please, for the love of Glob, like, especially with the way they're picking directors based on certain things, only based on their gender in some cases, where it's just like, okay, well, since this movie is a female action lead, we have to have a female director. Dude, it worked out fine with Wonder Woman, right? The first one. It worked out fine with Patty Jenkins. She did a good job. I will give her credit there. But I feel like after that, it's almost a requirement at this point to where if they put a director in for a female-led action movie who isn't a woman, then, the woke mob will just act like men don't know how to write women. Men shouldn't be writing women. Blah, 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 blah. And sometimes it can be cool to have a female perspective on a female character, but at the end of the day, I don't think that a director should be hired based on what they have in common with whatever the protagonist is, right? So let people who like action movies and let people who like comic books, so on and so forth, let them, or who are good at it, let them be the ones who direct these type of properties, because it's just not going to work when you only hire people based on identity. And let's look at Elizabeth Banks in general and what she's done. She just doesn't have the credentials right now to really push herself onto the action genre especially when you merge the action and the nerd genres together. She just doesn't have those credentials to be the first choice for these types of projects. So if she wants to work on that, maybe she can, but I just don't think that I just don't think that she and her ideologies and what she wants to insert into what she makes is really in line with the nerd community or the action community in general. So I don't know. This is what's up. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.